Hello, welcome to the Managed by Moms podcast. I'm Auntie Marie, your host, and today's momager of the day is my friend Ericka Busey. Hey,
Hi.
Ericka.
Hey, what's going on?
So Erica is the mom and momager of viral teen supermodel Miss Eris Aubrie. She is a
Yes.
14-year-old viral sensation, and she does everything: a designer, an author, an activist. Every month, Eris has a new accolade on her belt, and I just love it. And I love you guys. I am so blessed to have known you guys since Eris was like 8 or 9. So to see her
Yep.
stars shine is just so good. So one
Yes.
question that
Yes. Yes.
well, first of all, how are you? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Today was a good day. Um, not too busy. We don't do too much on the weekdays. We just school, work, and then come home and relax most of the time.
Well, I asked every mom on the podcast the same question to start off. Do you
Okay.
consider yourself a momager?
Yes.
You like, girl, I feel
I do.
it. So how
Like,
do you feel
yes.
being on the other side now? Like where today we're talking about you and your contributions to
Mhm.
the culture and to the community. Like,
I feel great. Just to like spread the awareness for other moms. I think that's good. But otherwise I don't feel uncomfortable. Like I'm
mm,
chilling, me and you
yeah.
just talking.
For sure. Well, I think one thing you brought up, how you guys don't do much on a weekday. Like, so one thing I want to talk about is balance. Because
Mhm.
Eris, I follow you guys on social media, and you show her in school, you show her in cheer, you show her being a kid, and then you
Yeah.
balance it out, showing her being a sensation. So, how important is balance for you?
Well, to me, it's 100%. Like as far as school and as far as what she does, as far as her career, it has to be a balance, or there will be no career. That's just how I feel. So school is always first, and that's not only with me. That's with Eris too. She
Mm.
takes her school very seriously. She takes what she does very seriously, and when it comes down to like trying to balance the two, sometimes it can be a little frustrating. Like if you have late nights, early mornings, or something like that, it can definitely intertwine with the balance. However, she just gets up and does what she has to do, and it's no problem.
So I'm hearing from you like Eris wants this just like you. Like it is.
Yeah,
How did it happen? How did it all come up? And where did it start?
like her career wise.
Yeah, like did she say I
Oh
want to be a model, or did you say
no,
my daughter cute? I'm about to put her in a show.
it was not that easy. So it started actually with Desmond,
Hmm.
with ethnicity brand. I actually just kind of pushed her in there. I didn't tell her where we were going. I just was like, oh, let's just go this place. She ended up just walking, and then I had to like bribe her, honestly, with lobster
How
and
old was she?
the lobster. She had to be like 7 or 8. Like I want to say like early 8, because we met
Okay,
you guys like closer to when we met. But she was with Desmond for a while, maybe like 6 months
yeah.
she was with him. And then from there it kind of took off. I didn't know it was that serious maybe until like we started getting like New York Fashion Week things, and she's decided that this is what she really wants to do. And when we did that, she just took off. Like it wasn't really planned this way actually. It was just
Hmm.
like something fun to do, because she tried
Yeah.
everything else. The girl tried instrument. No, she tried the viola. She tried the recorder. No. She tried dance. No. Like she tried little things before we got here. And then when she did this, we kind of knew this was her thing. So that's the story.
I must say, well, first of all, I love Desmond 1,000%. Like my
Yes.
child, our food started modeling with him as well, and
Yes.
he was in his annual Christmas show. Before we even
Yep.
developed Kids Fashion Week. So
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
definitely. But I always tell everybody, Desmond is the king, honey.
He really
Okay.
is though. He really, really is. He started her off. And then
Yeah.
he always saw her potential before I saw it. I was like,
Mm,
what? I mean, I didn't think it was that serious, but he always pushed her and the other people, other kids that were going every week. He pushed them to the limit. Then they have this showcase afterwards. But then
yeah.
after the showcase, they still feel motivated to keep going. So I think that's
Yeah.
important.
Well, I would say when I first met Eris, she wasn't the strongest model in the group, but she
Hmm.
had something in her eye. Like I can't
Yeah.
explain it. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think I have a video I could show you, but it was something in her eye where you was like, she about to do this, you know. And she wasn't the
Yeah.
strongest walker, but she never let it stop her. Like she was like,
Hmm.
"Who wants to lead the flood?" And she'll raise her hand. You know, we're like, "This your
Hmm.
first year," and she's like, "No." Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was almost like competitive.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
she
and
definitely has a competitive spirit. That comes with everything though. That comes with her
mm,
grades. That
mm,
comes with with schools, she goes to do Gallatin now. So she that goes from that.
mm,
Um she just has that spirit that she's gonna just do above and beyond. And I don't really feel like it's a negative thing. I just
mm.
think that that pushes her more to be more motivated in the things that she does.
Where do you think she gets that from? Was she just born with it, or these life
Well,
experiences?
this one Eris was always like the one where we knew like she was gonna be like that. Like she always
Mm,
had that sassy attitude. I have three children altogether. I have an 18-year-old now, and then she's the middle child, and then I have my son.
mm,
My oldest is the chillest kid. And Eris happens to be the one that just takes you to 100 sometimes. And that's like a positive thing because like she knows what she wants and she's here for it. I'm just here
mm.
to motivate her and get her
Nice.
through it. But she's always been like that firecracker all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm. I like
So
how you are doing like the Moesha vibe on her Instagram with the Dear Diary. Like it reminds me of like Moesha. Remember
mhm.
how she would write the Dear Diary,
Right,
but
right, right. Yeah.
but it kind of gives the audience, all of us, all the fans, you know, a different perspective of her. So I mean, who's coming
Hmm.
up with those things? Is it you? Is it collaborative? Do you guys have a management team? Like how are you getting pushed?
So yes. So our push really comes from Righteous One's agency, from Harley.
Mm,
He actually gives us stuff to brainstorm and things that he would consider like, oh, this is a good idea for Eris. And then we'll just all collaborative come together and then it'll just be done. Like the Dear Diary thing, we all
mm,
sat at the table. We knew that was for her book, Daggone. We all
mm,
knew that she was making this book, but we had to figure out a way to like promote it. So
mhm,
we sat at the table and I showed him the pictures of everything and she was like, I don't know what to do, but I need help with it. He ended up helping us with the Dear Diary situation. And
nice,
I think that kind of pushed the book a lot to
nice.
what it was.
Yeah, I think that's really good. So let's talk about her book, Daggone. Who came up with that? Did she did, or did you say we're gonna write
Oh,
a book?
that's all Aries.
Everything,
No,
the
it was
designing, the
really all
activism.
Aries. Everything. And when it came down to the book, she was kind of sketchy on writing it because
Mm-hmm,
she didn't want to bring negative tones to it. She didn't want it to like negate the people that actually are doing for their children. She
mm-hmm.
wanted just to show off how she's doing well without her dad.
Yeah.
And when she came to me about it, it was more of like a direction where she was like, well, I want to just encourage other people. I don't know. I write down stuff. I write a lot because she writes a lot. I
Mm-hmm,
write a lot of stuff down, but I want to actually make it to a book. I said, well, let's research it. So we ended up researching it. We found a publishing company that did the illustrations as well, and then it just from there they like took her pictures and like made the character look like her,
mm-hmm.
which I thought that was amazing. My father is actually in the book. They took a picture of my dad
That's
and drew
dope.
him and put him in the book. Yeah.
That's a
So
fun
it
fact.
was very yeah, yeah, yeah. He's in there cuz he passed away in 2012
Mm,
and
sorry. Yeah.
she wanted to incorporate him in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we end up sending the page. I think it's like my granddad took me to the dance or something, daddy daughter dance or something like that.
Yes, I remember
So
that
we
part.
incorporated. We sent the picture of him to them, and then they illustrated it back, looking like him.
That's
It looks just
beautiful.
like him.
That's beautiful. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
So we
yeah,
know Eris is
yeah,
like a handful from a career perspective, and you have three
yeah.
kids. So how do you balance what all of them wants
Yes,
to do and what you want to do?
right. Like my kids are good kids.
Hmm.
My kids are like superb. I would not ask, and I'm not just saying this because I'm like a mom, but my kids do not cause me no problems. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Hmm.
As far as a positive aspect, I get a lot of help because it's just us four, so we help each other out.
Nice.
I think it's important to know, okay, hey, can you help me do this, can you do that? Like, we help each other out. Even with my daughter in college, she still helps me when she comes
Mm,
here or she's not there.
nice.
Like, I talk
Nice.
to her, I'm like, what do you think about this, what do you think about that? And I think she's kind of like the person that kind of keeps us together too,
Hmm.
because she wants to look at both the positive and the negatives, and then we figure it out, and then we talk about it, and then boom, we come up with a solution. But I have really good kids. Like, I think
Nice.
that has a lot to do with how I balance a lot of things. They don't give me any problems.
Hmm.
They all make good grades. They're both on honor roll. My son is awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. And me and Eris were just talking about this on the way home, because I feel like things would be a lot different if they weren't good kids. Like, a lot of kids out here are just out here just doing anything, and
Hmm.
I don't have those, so I'm just blessed to have them.
Do you think it would be different
Yeah.
if they all wanted to be in the spotlight or in the entertainment business? Would that change the dynamic?
Um, I don't think so. I think the fact that she steps out and she's humble,
Hmm.
and she doesn't like want for anything, or she's
Hmm.
just there. She's always the same person on or off the stage.
Hmm.
I don't think that has anything to really like get in the way.
Hmm.
She doesn't change who she is, and I love that about her.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody, like little kids, run up to her all the time and just want to hug her and all those
Nice.
things, she spends time with them, and she's really a humble person. You would never know that that's what she does. Like, even at school, you would
Hmm.
never know, because she doesn't walk around and say, "Hey, I'm a supermodel. I do this." She literally is like herself,
I feel like
and
that
I give
age
that to her
group,
too, because she definitely is.
yeah, totally. I feel like
Yeah,
that age group, they almost are embarrassed of the great stuff they're doing. Like, I know like the junior executives with Kids Fashion Week,
yeah,
they're like, "Oh my God, somebody found Kids Fashion Week. Can you take down a picture of me as a baby?" And we're always laughing. So I think it's like that age group too. It's like I do this, but everybody don't need to know unless you know. You know.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
tell.
I mean, I think that too, but as far as Chris is concerned, I just feel that it's more of, she wants to just stay a kid. Like, she's still
Hmm.
a teenager, and she wants it to show that way. And most of the time, because she's always modeling like for adults, or like, nine times out of 10, she's the youngest in the group.
Right.
But she always presents herself professionally, yet I'm still a teenager. She's
Right.
not too grown. She walks around, that she's a teenager, but then when she handles her business a professional aspect, then it's totally different. Like, it's the same, but it's not.
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with it too.
So you mentioned her being humble in school. How do you think your parenting style has changed since she has become this superstar?
Um, Change. I
Le-
feel that I okay. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, just to, you hear stories about like joking, like where kids are like, I'm paying the bills. Don't be telling me to go to bed or like, and not saying she's at that level yet, but you
So
hear all
she
these.
don't pay no bills, okay? She
I'm
don't
just.
pay no bills around here, okay?
Of course, she's not at that level yet, but
At all.
you hear all that, like, kids get
No.
cocky, and have you had to like adjust
Yeah.
your parenting style?
She doesn't though.
No.
No, she doesn't. And I'm really trying to figure out like a time when she is really humble, and that's at home too. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I don't she doesn't get cocky with me or like have that mentality where I do this and do that. It's not we're in it together. And
Nice.
she knows she sees how hard I work. She sees the things that I have to do, and she doesn't take that for granted. That pushes her more to
Mm-hmm.
know that that I have a single parent struggle.
Mm-hmm.
She pushes harder. I think
Yeah.
that motivates her. So if
Yeah.
it's any parenting style, I feel like I can just continue. Sometimes I have to give her like, okay, you can do this. You can do this. Sometimes, like for example, I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
When it comes down to her designing, she gets mental blocks. So sometimes she just can't go straight forward, and sometimes she waits till the last minute. However, when she makes waits till the last minute, she does great jobs. I don't know what the last minute has to do with anything, but she does great. But sometimes she has those mental blocks and it makes her like feel down about it. So I have to be like, Eris, you can do this. You don't understand it right now, but it's gonna work in your favor. Just keep pushing. Like those
Mm-hmm.
things, I feel like I do that a little bit more than I did before because I feel like sometimes the pressure between school, high school now,
Mm-hmm.
and doing that, it can sometimes get in the way. And she doesn't go to a regular high school.
Right.
She gets out of school at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really she doesn't have time to sit down if she's working on a designing thing. Like she doesn't have time. So sometimes I have to like mentally like push her and
Mm-hmm.
say, this is what's going on, and you have to realize that it's gonna work out in the long run.
Yeah.
So I have to do some of those, but other than that, like she really is a good kid.
So,
She
like, what
really
I'm
is.
hearing, like, your dynamic for parenting is just because she understands what you're going through. Like, she sees the work. Like, there's
Hmm.
some kids who they don't see what their parents are going through, and they
Yeah.
just think they magically have a house and lights, you know,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing too. I think that has a lot to do with how I was raised too, because both of my parents raised me. However, they did it separately,
Mm,
and I've seen what both of my parents had to go through, but I seen more what my father had to go through, and
mm-hmm.
I was a daddy's girl, so like to see like the things he had to push through and the things he had to finagle to get things how she sees some things that I go through too, and I think it's important for children to see that, because if you hide it and say, oh, surprise, this is what happened here, they will never know. From when they get
Yeah.
adulting, they will never know the struggle or the things they have to go through to get there. So I think it's
Yeah.
important. I mean, I'm not rich. She knows not yet. I will be, but not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows that it takes a village, and it's only us. And this is just what we're gonna go through to get to where we have to get to. So she gets it.
And does she understand the business too? So like understanding life, right? But does she understand the contracts and management and what a publicist is and what
Mhm.
she might have to endure? Do you share those business side of things with her as well?
So yes, so everything that I get via email, we read it together. If she has questions, we'll talk about the questions. If I can answer them, I can answer them, or they'll be sent in the email. Like this, if she doesn't understand something, we're gonna understand it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's important for that because I can be gone tomorrow, and then she have a contract the day after. Anything like that. She has to know her ways to get through things more than I do, because this is what she does. So
Yeah,
I think
I
that
love that.
I think having that, yeah, for sure.
Well, I want to pivot a little bit and talk about
Okay.
privacy. Um,
Okay.
I remember the first Kids Fashion Week in San Diego when you guys came,
Hmm.
And one of the designers put Eris in a dress, and even I cringed when she came out. And I don't know how, if you remember, do you remember? It was like a pink,
Yes.
yeah, okay. And
Yeah.
I was like mortified. And like honestly, once that situation change rules for even our company, we need to see the clothes.
I'm sure. It
Like,
changed with us too, though.
okay,
It changed with us too. It changed.
yeah,
It changed a lot with us too because I think at that time of her career, she would talk for herself, but it wasn't as what it is now. If she doesn't feel comfortable with something now,
mm,
she would tell the designer. Like there's no problem with her telling the designer. And it sometimes it kind of shocks me in a sense because you're only 14 and you're not saying it in an insulting manner. You're just saying,
mm,
I just don't feel comfortable. And there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that. You know, if
yeah,
you're still a teenager and we're still working, pretty much 9 times out of 10, there are adult lines.
yeah,
And if something that you don't feel comfortable, something too short, and you say, well, I don't feel comfortable with that, they'll switch it
yeah,
right up, but you have to speak for yourself. And that goes with a lot of models. Like if anything like that the mama just can get out of this, like you have to tell your models to speak for themselves. Because they if they just walk out here with just anything, that's doing a designer a favor.
right,
That won't look right on your end. So
right,
sometimes you just have to just speak up. And even
yeah,
it's been times where like Eris would like FaceTime me and say, Mom, do you think this is right? Like, before this is before the runway show.
mm-hmm,
Do you think this is okay? I'll be like, no. She'll be like, okay, I'll call you back. She'll call me back with something else. You
nice,
know, it's really about it's your career. And these are the things that you have to like really picture what the future looks like. And I think it's important that these kids like really talk up for themselves. It's really important because we always can't be backstage.
right. And that
That's
was a
another thing.
kid.
Like
That
we
was a
can't always
kid
be
designer.
backstage.
That was a kid designer at that time. So it was like
It was
even
a
more
kid
cringy for
designer.
us. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
woosah. But I think
Man, do I
about that.
remember that.
I'm glad you still like us. but, but I think about that
Yeah.
all the
No, that was
time.
a pivot for us.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a pivot for us because I wasn't really upset at Eris about that
Hmm.
because you would think this is kids fashion week.
Right.
So it's okay, and that was a couple years back, but we still think about that. And I feel like that's the reason why she speaks up for herself now. She
Yeah.
doesn't want to be out here looking crazy,
Yeah. Or you
and she
are just
has a
older.
lot of things she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're older, you're wiser, you kind of know the game, what you can and cannot do, and she has this image too that she has to uphold. I always tell her that too. Certain things you're not, if it doesn't cover up your image, you're not wearing it.
Hmm. Hmm. Exactly.
So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Well, beyond the runway, I know as a momager, you have to protect their privacy on social media. I mean, Eris is viral. Like, are you
Yeah.
blocking people? Like, I know your page is public, but even on
Oh,
Kids
I
Fashion Week,
block.
there's some people I be like, remove, like,
Oh,
what do
I
you
block
do?
in a heartbeat. I block. That's what I do. I block.
But
I
how
just
do
feel
they
like
say stuff to her? Like, how do you know that they're creepy?
yeah, like we've had so many things. It's so many pervs out here. It's
I
crazy.
know.
Like try to send her money, like all types of stuff. And I monitor her page. 90% of her page she does. Like the things, her concepts and stuff that she does. She reads all her comments. She replies to all her comments. But when it comes down to something weird, I step in
Got it.
and I take care of it. It's more of a block situation. But I've had so many things. It seems like it's just more people like from out of the country that do this wild
Hmm.
stuff, and
Do
you
you
just got to
guys
be
like,
careful, be
do you
mindful.
both have access to her page? So like she has it on her phone and you have it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, both of
I,
us.
I
Yep,
know one
yep,
thing a
yep,
lot
yep,
of
yep.
parents approach me about is social media. Like they are very uncomfortable with their kids having a profile. And I'm always like, well, if they want to be in this business, it's a public business. Like they're going to be
Right.
seen, but you have to manage their page, or you can make it private. I am not a supporter of private pages for people who want
Mhm.
a career, because Oprah's not going to request to follow
Right.
you if she's looking at you, you know. But
Right.
what advice
Exactly.
would you give people from social media, like not just about privacy, but just experiences that you have had, good or bad, pros or cons?
Mhm. Well, I feel like social media is the reason why her career has taken a notch.
Mm,
Um, you know people, you learn people from social media,
mm,
and when it was newer, it was different, but now it's a thing. Like
yeah,
everything goes through the internet. I mean,
it
you could
does.
always do a model casting in person and all that, but before that, there is online castings, and those things are important, especially if this is what you want in a career.
Mm,
So there are bad things about it. There are a lot of things to watch out for. However, it's a lot of things to watch out for in the real world. You
yeah.
just have to monitor your child.
Mm,
And if this is what you want for your child, if you want to build this career with your child, it's important to have social media. Like, I don't feel like she will be as far as she is without it,
yeah.
as far as the start of it, because that's how she started. She
Mm,
started with social media, and she's just branching up from that because of the connections she's made through social media. These are people that don't even live in DC. These are people that are in Atlanta or Cali. Like, we go to Cali like every year just for this one designer because we met through social media.
nice.
Like little things like that. I think it's important to keep that, at least the social media, as the first aspect of a career, because you have to learn people, you have to meet people that way. You can study them too. I don't just throw her in any designer. I studied their page, I studied their website. I ask for different questions. I mean, there's so many ways that you can avoid craziness on a social media page. But I don't think it should be something just like not done. I think it has to be. It's a
Has to be.
requirement. It's a requirement for a career.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Especially like a career of as a modeling or designing or stuff like that. I think it's very important. Like it's a must.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Um, So I guess now I want to talk to you about finances. One of my
Okay.
favorite things that I ever heard Raven Simone say, because she say a lot of things, but she said that the reason she is so successful financially is because her parents managed her money well from the Cosby Show days. They wasn't stealing from her. They had a percentage. What are you guys putting in place for finances? Like, how are you teaching her about them?
Yes. So she's taken some financing literacy classes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were helpful for sure. And when she gets paid, we put it to the side. And if we're
Mm-hmm.
not putting it to the side, it's going towards designing because that fabric costs a lot of money. Okay. But other than that, like I feel like it's important for her to know this is the saving, this is what this is for. So hold tight on it. And then I won't have to pay for the fabric because it's coming out of the money that you made. So I'm teaching her how to hold on to her stuff to actually like make money from the things that you're making.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting there. Like it's because she just started designing. I think once she find her like niche, I think that's going to be an important aspect for her to know, okay, this is where this goes. This
Mm-hmm.
goes towards the fabric. And then you could hold on to this and you could have your own spending money. Like I
Yeah.
think she's still a teenager. She costs money. My
Yeah.
gosh, she costs money. But I think that's important for her to know that
Yeah.
it's different, different aspects of finances too.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing the school system fails to educate us all on, is just how to manage money and how to build
Yeah.
wealth. I mean, it's almost
Hmm.
intentional that they don't teach that to our kids. So I love that you're teaching it to her, and you're
Yeah.
showing her how, like even for Kids Fashion Week, we have to show our kids why a ticket costs $50, because it has to be broken down
Right.
into different buckets, like,
Mm-hmm.
and not
For sure.
shorting yourself and not overcharging your guests. So all those things definitely come into play, and I always am curious to know
It
how
does.
other moms are like managing that for their kids. Are you comfortable taking a manager percent? Do you take 15%?
I
No.
don't. Am I supposed to? No, because and I only say I don't is because she finds time to enjoy the things that she does, and like whatever to make her happy, I'm gonna always make sure that she's straight. And I don't want her to. She said she gonna take care of me when she get older.
I
So
believe it.
when she take care of me, I'm good, you know. But other until then, I got her. Like I got your back. Whatever you need, just let me know what you need to be successful. And I feel
Yes.
like that's all I need, to be honest with you.
Where do you see, like, I know if I ask you and Eris the same question, it might be different. But
Okay.
where do you
Okay.
see Eris' career going? Like, where does, like, as her momager and you're steering the ship, if you don't ask her, like, where do you want to see her go?
I see her really branching off in this designing world. Her mind and her vision at her age is just unstoppable. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's not going to stop until she gets to where she needs to get to. And I feel like that's where she'll be.
Mm-hmm.
I see her internationally designing.
Nice.
And of course she'll be I don't see her giving up modeling because she's
Mm-hmm.
very good at it. I don't see her giving that up. I just feel like she loves doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And guaranteed, like she started in what's that, March 2022? I think it's March 2022. She started sewing then.
Mm-hmm.
Then she designed her first collection in July 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just branched off from there.
Yeah.
Like from March into July, she was learning how to sew.
Right.
That's it. Just sewing as a passion, just to get her mind off of everything else.
No.
And it just like a light switched, and then it just she just took off from there. So it's just so much passion involved in that.
Have you guys had
And
to
it's an outlet.
deal? Nice. And it's really interesting because to start and to be so successful at one thing so young, it's
Yeah.
only more you can do. Like, and I'm
Right.
sure, like,
Right.
I still see her modeling. Like, I see her like little
Yeah.
Naomi Campbell.
I do. I
Yeah.
do. I do. I do. 100% I do. I just feel that the designer is going to be one thing. That's where social media comes in.
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be that one thing, and it's gonna just take off from there. Because of
Yeah.
course she already has modeling down pat. So it's not. I mean, of course she's serious in everything that she does when it comes down to modeling, but she wants to take the designer to another level. And
Hmm.
when she does that, I just feel like that's gonna be it. Just
Yeah.
think that's gonna be it.
I'm excited to see, honey. I'm
Me
watching.
too. Me too. I don't know anything about sewing. I don't know anything about styling, any of that stuff. All that stuff is her. Like PSA. A lot of momagers, they will help assist and all. I have no idea what I'm doing at all when it comes down
Mm.
to that. Like even when I'm backstage with her, I'm like, do what you feel. I don't know.
Follow your
She's like,
gut.
you know I'm serious. Because I'm like, I don't know anything about that. What do you want me to do? I just drove here. I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if I can help you. Like
but
I'm
but
so scared. I
that's
don't know.
that's amazing vulnerability and honesty that just helps push her. But what about the
Yeah.
business? Like, because I know when you started, you didn't know. So, and obviously you're learning as you go. But like,
Hmm. Hmm.
do you feel ever fear? Like, am I making a mistake, or do you just have enough support and faith that you're going the right way?
The faith for sure.
Hmm.
I feel like faith leads me always in the right direction, even if it doesn't look the right direction. It's always something positive. I feel that comes out of something that looks like not right.
Yeah.
So if I make that decision to where, let's say we go to New York and the show was a fluke or something like that. Let's just say that.
Hmm.
Then I would turn that negative into a positive. Okay, since we're here, let's do this and do this. Let's do a couple shoots. Like I always turn that negative into a positive because it's always going to be that one little thing to be like, okay, we made this work. We made this work, and we walk by faith 100%.
Yeah. What are you gonna do one day when she wants to hire a manager? Are you gonna be okay with that?
I would love that. Can we do it now? Like, can we do it right now? Oh my gosh. No, I mean, and I'm not saying that just to say it, but like, it is a lot.
It's a
Like,
lot.
it's a lot because I want to be a mom, but then at the end of the day, like, I have to push her sometimes. So, like, a manager will actually do that.
Right.
Like, I don't have to worry about her feelings, but now I really have to worry about her feelings and how she's gonna feel. I have to talk to her about like little things, like to be a parent. And
Right.
being a parent is hard. And then be on top of that, you have being a momager, like as far as her career, like the career is pretty much like I'm running her whole career.
Right.
Like in it could be a lot. So anybody want to, hire me, definitely hiring right now,
do
okay?
you do you
No,
feel like
listen.
you have time to accomplish the things that you want for yourself? Like, do you feel like you have time to fill up your cup?
Oh, I make time for myself.
You do. Okay.
Um, yes. Like I don't know if you notice or anybody else notice, but like we don't do every little show anymore. We definitely take time to ourselves. Um, Eris is really concentrating on doing right and doing better in school, like as far as like just exploring different things. Like she's in technical design and production, so she wants to do stage management. She's still sewing, so
Hmm.
she sews at school. They do lighting, they do audio. Those she's like into that right now.
Right.
So little things that we do, we don't do it anymore. And I just feel like that's just growth. Like
Right.
there's nothing wrong with growing out of something. It's just what it is. But I feel like I love the fact that she's passionate about learning those things at school and then also keeping focus on what she has to do as far as her career is concerned.
So tell me, what is the most important thing that you've learned from your child? Like, learned from her?
Okay. From her.
Mm.
um I would say like walking by faith though. Um a lot of things that we've done we were not sure. And a lot of things we just ride together with it. Like we were like, oh, let's just see where this takes us. And then not trusting my own judgment sometimes I'll kind of be like, are you sure? Are you sure? She'll be like, yeah, everything's gonna work out. Like she's my motivation really when I don't have enough sleep, when it's like too much things going on. Like she'll be like, Mom, you got it. Let's go. Let's do it. I just I Our days are literally walking by faith every single day. Even if we don't have anything planned, it's just like let's just figure out what today's gonna bring. And whatever it is, we're gonna figure it out.
it
That's
sounds
our
like
main line. We're gonna figure it out. So
it sounds like you guys have a really good bond, and that helps with the success.
yes.
You guys are just in alignment, and that's
Mm-hmm. It
anybody can
does.
ask. It's just you just want to be in alignment with
Yes.
anybody. So I think that's so beautiful, and I'm happy to learn
Yes.
that side of your relationship.
Yes.
So we are gonna.
Yeah, we're really cool. And she's very she's like she has her eyes on the prize right now.
Mhm.
And I see the drive that she has. So I don't want to ever dim her light. Like whatever she wants to do, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Whatever task she wants to do. She want to write a book? Okay, let's figure it out. You want to design clothes? Sure, let's figure it out.
yeah,
Like I just don't ever want to dim her light. And she just shows me that she just wants to push herself as much as she can. And I'm down for it. I'm cool.
yeah. That's awesome. She's super blessed to have you, and you're super blessed to have
Thank you.
her. And I'm so proud of both of
Yes.
you. It's so amazing. So I do
Thank
want
you.
to wrap us up, but before we do,
Okay.
what advice would you give to the parents of children who want to pursue a career in entertainment? Do you have any nuggets for them?
Um, yes. Whatever, like I was saying with Eris, whatever they want to do, just hop on the bandwagon. Um, I think it's important to push your child, but not push them to the limit where they don't want to do it anymore. Just have that distance and say, I'm here if you need me, and if they're going to need you. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's to kind of space it out and have them make their own decision to what they want to do as far as their career, and then let them figure it out sometimes. Of course, be there in the back, ready for whatever. But I just think it's important to people to have those kids to have that space to actually progress instead of having the mama just trying to figure out what to do with them or how to kind of run their lives. Space out, let them do what they do. There it may be some obstacles, but that's why you're there. You're a momager. So that would be my advice.
Momagers unite.
Yes. How's the people? Sorry.
But thank you so much, Ericka, for your time and your insight. We really appreciate you sharing that
Of
knowledge
course.
with us.
Of course. Of course. Thank you for having me.